Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Leo Garcia with Six String Journal. Today I'm going to be working on a couple little things to help you with technique. I often get asked by students, if you only have a limited amount of time, what arpeggios or right hand patterns would you recommend practicing? That's a tough question because it's usually depends on the pieces you're working on, it depends on how far along your technique is, depends a lot on many factors. But if you had to really just sort of work on the basics, I would propose PIM, PMI, PIMA, PAMI, and then some where you would come back to fingers like PIMI and PMIM, and then maybe one that has you go all the way out and back, PIMAMI. And then sometimes you can do that, you know, it's a lot, right? But if you work on them systematically, set aside some time every day, maybe 15-20 minutes just for some basic movements where you're working on them in different ways, but little by little you're upping your level. So I thought I would walk you through how I practice some of them, and maybe that'll help, and you'll get something out of it. I'm not going to use a metronome for now, but I recommend it when you practice. So here are a couple things that I think about when I'm practicing or trying to just warm up a little bit with arpeggios. First, I'll go back and forth between planting and not planting. So maybe I would start just more relaxed, and so here's PIM. I'm feeling the string before I play. I'm on it, but I'm not necessarily planting like that. There's a place for that, but I sort of start off try to be more relaxed. I think planting can have a little tension in it sometimes. So I start off as relaxed as I can, wrist loose, thinking more maybe sequential planting. When you plant, you can put fingers down softly. They don't have to be, you know, aggressive. So there's PIM. One thing I'll do is if I want to not play on just open strings, I'll do thirds in E major. And then maybe I could start on a different finger. Then maybe with M. Making sure always that the fingers are relaxed or swinging without tension. I think sometimes when we're after a big tone or we're warming up, that we can start very tense, or at least I know I can. So I'm focusing on that a lot, trying to just relax. The stroke should feel like you're coming through air. What's it feel like to move this way with freedom, right? you know, depending on where you are. If that's too much, like thirds, you know, you can do one finger. Or just do open strings if that's, you want to really zero in on your right hand, study them. Then I might do some planting, like I might do more aggressive placing, although I try and play softly. So something like, so I'm place all three, and as I do it, the thumb plays. Listen for every note, even though I'm thinking in a bigger phrase. Anyway, so that's how I would practice PIM. I would always use a metronome and sort of find where everything is very clean and very comfortable, and then I would push it up. Okay, next one, PMI. So that one, I tend to, when I work on it, I tend to plant thumb and middle at the beginning. So the same thing, I would sort of get comfortable. And then I would do my thirds, or maybe some sort of diminished shape. So I'm sort of planting at the beginning and then sequentially planting as I go. Essentially, I don't want to be up in the air. I don't want to lose contact with the strings, because then I lose my place and I have to be a little bit more nervous about missing things. So that would be for PMI. Another thing that you can do with PMI is you can plant your ring finger, and you can do it with a PIM too. And if you're more advanced, that might help you stabilize your right hand, but it also will build some independence between M and A. So maybe start with a different finger. Even though I have a planted A finger, I'm still trying to make sure my stroke with M and I is very relaxed as I come through. So this is static, but it's not completely rigid. So I'm just trying to sort of stabilize by placing lightly on the first string. And again, depending on the context, you might not do that if you're playing a piece, but just when you're practicing sort of to work on your fingers or technique, it's nice to try different things to see if it helps. Help something feel more comfortable. You might make a breakthrough if you're working on these arpeggios and you're aware and conscious of what you're doing. You're not doing it mindlessly. That's just a waste of time. So when I do it, I'm constantly in my head. I'm thinking and I'm trying to feel what it's like. When is it comfortable? When does it feel good? When is it locked in? When is it unstable and why? All of those things should be going through your head when you're practicing these.